Tonight, how are you preparing for Valentine's Day?
Plus, what's the best thing about a woman? Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for February 13, 2013. I'm Deatra Montgomery.
And I'm Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. Last night, Troy University Student Government Association covered a wide variety of topics and passed several bills. Judson Garner has the details.
Troy University SGA President Will Thompson announced Tuesday night 2 task forces, one of them dealing with one of the most discussed problems in his term as president, American and international relations.
A group of international and American students that will seek to partner with the Chancellor's Fellows to try to incorporate our international student body with our American student body, possibly create an initiative to do so.
This group of students will meet with a select group of faculty and staff called the Chancellor's Fellows. The goal is to brand events catered towards improving the interactions between all students on campus. This new group has not been assembled, but an immediate goal is to improve existing activities between all students. For example, the Conversation Partners program.
I would hate for somebody to think for some reason that our SGA does not serve our student body.
The other task force deals with making recommendations to improve the homecoming competition for this year. It will be led by incumbent Vice President of Campus Activities Cody Farrell and Trip Hubbard, who will assume Farrell's role after his term ends.
Put in the chair, the eyes have it, and they do.
The SGA passed a bill to investigate how the university could improve an area in front of the fraternity houses, potentially cutting down shrubbery, making it into a place for recreational activities.
Resolution with the said amendments, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
So put in the chair, the ayes have it.
Division.
Division was heard.
And the dress code resolution for SGA senators became one of the longest debated topics in an SGA meeting in recent history.
Troy University Student Government Association does not have a set formal and informal dress code, as the need for said dress code has become increasingly evident.
After a standing vote, that resolution was approved. Judson Garner, Troy TrojanVision News.
Next week, the SGA will do a night walk after its meeting. The night walk is a campus safety inspection performed at least once a semester, and all students are welcome to attend.
Well, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and for many that means finding just the right gift for their special someone. But how are the places that provide those gifts getting ready for the big day? Terry, you has the details.
February 14th is Valentine's Day. A lot of local stores have been prepared for the special day coming. Jean's Flower is one of those stores ready to help spread the love message for local people.
Jean's Flowers were preparing for Valentine's Day, which is notoriously a famous day for flowers.
A lot of people buy roses for Valentine's Day, but not sure about the colors. So what color of roses should people buy for Valentine's Day?
The red rose is normally meant for love, and so a lot of people send red roses for Valentine's Day. If it's not a serious relationship, sometimes people will send pink roses, and then yellow flowers are usually meant for friendship. So sometimes siblings or friends will send yellow roses.
And what is the best choice for students to buy?
I would suggest for your significant other, red roses. Those are usually the most famous and some of the best gifts.
So what are Troy students going to do for this special day?
I'm planning on going to the movies with my boyfriend.
I'm going to take my girlfriend Bailey Wetmore to the movies.
I'm going to spend the day with my special someone.
I'm going to go out with a few friends, a few girls, a few other guys. It should be fun.
And what do they plan to buy for their special someone?
Probably flowers and chocolate.
Candy and flowers and the usual Valentine's Day gift.
Personally, I'd probably like to get flowers or like maybe a stuffed animal too, just something sweet.
Terry Yu, Troy TrojanVision News.
For any Troy students who haven't found that right gift yet, a number of organizations have plans to sell items as fundraisers in the Trojan Center throughout the day tomorrow. Well, Bailey, when men are younger, sometimes they're too shy to give out Valentines or maybe even talking to girls.
That's right, Deatra, but in college usually gets a little bit easier. And today, one Troy organization gave students a chance to share what they liked most about the women in their lives. Wednesday, members of Troy University's Women's Initiative invited Troy students to participate in their first event of the semester, The Measure of a Woman.
We've got a great big old board with paper on both sides, and we're asking people to come out and write their favorite part about a woman.
Whether it be a physical characteristic or a personality trait, Women's Initiative members said they were interested to hear feedback from Troy students.
A general survey of what the people on Troy University, both male and female, think about women. And then we're going to take this information and use it throughout the rest of the semester.
We want to find out what students think about women in their lives, and we want to take that data and use that to address the needs and the concerns of the student body.
The president of Women's Initiative said the Measure of a Woman event was also a way to raise awareness about the group.
We've been around for a couple of years, but we haven't really been as active until last semester, and this semester we're trying to start things off with a bang.
Shackelford says she looks forward to the group growing and raising awareness about issues discussed within the Women's Initiative organization.
We're exploring exactly what it means to be a woman in the 21st century with pros and cons, and to get an idea of what we can do to change things for the better for future generations.
One member encourages students to get involved with the Women's Initiative, saying that although one of the goals of the group is to raise awareness about female empowerment, the group also supports something else.
Empowerment for all of humanity, because none of us is free when one is oppressed. It's about bettering humanity as a whole. It's not about any one gender being better than the other. It's just about treating everyone with equality and respect.
The next meeting for Women's Initiative is scheduled for tomorrow night at 6 p.m. in Smith Hall, room 160. Everyone is invited to attend.
And now taking that look at news from around the state. In Montgomery, a state Senate committee has approved legislation designed to give city and county school systems more flexibility in dealing with state education laws. The Senate Education Committee voted for the bill after adding amendments to protect the tenure rights of teachers and to make sure the legislation can't be used to create charter schools.
And in Tuscumbia, a coalition of environmental groups has announced plans to sue the Tennessee Valley Authority for violations of the Clearwater Act. The Southern Environmental Law Center says the Colbert Foster plant in Tuscumbia has been illegally discharging pollutants into Cane Creek, a Tennessee River tributary that has been polluting groundwater as well.
And in Gardendale, officials say they're investigating possible threats to some students at Gardendale High School. Sheriff officials said in a statement they're investigating reports that a 15-year-old student had a list of people he was going to shoot when he, quote, went off and shot up the school. The sheriff's office said the student reportedly told some of the students they were on his list to shoot.
And still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, there will be a home basketball game tomorrow night. Danielle Percival will be in with the details next in sports.
But first, the body of an ex-LA police officer is believed to be found. We'll have that story and more after the break.
Investigators are still sifting through a charred mountain cabin, working to confirm whether the human remains found inside are those of the fugitive former LAPD cop. I'm Teresa Garcia in Angeles Oaks, California. Just ahead, I'll have more on what they've found so far.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Let's switch to Energy Star light bulbs and stop burning through cash. Saving energy saves you money.
When a disaster strikes, time is a killer. The UN Central Emergency Response Fund jumpstarts relief efforts, which saves lives. Help us help in time. Donate now at rapiddisasterrelief.org.
Doctor and nurse.
I want to work in the NFL.
Troy University's College of Health and Human Services prepares students for high-demand careers of today and tomorrow. Careers offering attractive pay and the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of others.
My courses aren't just classwork. I've worked with the Department of Human Resources to put my skills to work with helping people.
I couldn't think of anything else I'd rather be doing.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Deatra Montgomery at the Global News Desk. Deatra.
Thanks, Bailey. The Afghan government is welcoming President Obama's decision to cut the number of American troops in half in Afghanistan before the end of this year. But a controversial NATO airstrike is fueling new tension in the region. William Marks reports from London.
Afghan President Hamid Karzai says it's time for Afghan soldiers to take charge of their country's future. He says local security forces are ready to replace American troops. But many ordinary Afghans say the U.S. is leaving too soon.
Over the next year, another 34,000 American troops will come home from Afghanistan. This drawdown will continue, and by the end of next year, our war in Afghanistan will be over.
President Obama says the 11-year conflict is finally coming to a close. But as he put the finishing touches on his State of the Union address, the war claimed another round of victims. Afghan government officials say a NATO airstrike killed at least 10 civilians, half of them children, in the remote mountains of eastern Afghanistan. Killing the innocent while hunting insurgents has long made this conflict controversial. And analysts say the country's violence will likely continue long after US troops depart.
I think what matters to them is getting their people out, getting their kit out, being able to talk about a victory. But for Afghans, that victory is continuing war.
The man tasked with bringing US troops home is now General Joseph Dunford. This past weekend, he became the most senior American commander in Afghanistan, and possibly the last. Philip Marks for CBS News.
Investigators are still trying to confirm the identity of the body they found inside a burned-out cabin near Big Bear, California. It's believed to be Christopher Dorner, the ex-policeman who went on a week-long revenge killing spree. One of Dorner's alleged victims was laid to rest today. Teresa Garcia has the latest details.
Bagpipes played as the flag-draped coffin carrying Riverside police officer Michael Crane entered the church. Hundreds of police officers from across Southern California attended the funeral. Police say former Los Angeles officer and Navy reservist Christopher Dorner shot and killed Crane in an ambush last week.
I really did not realize the sheer scale of this and how many people are touched by his life.
Police believe 33-year-old Dorner was the man they found inside a charred cabin near Big Bear, but they have not confirmed it yet. Until that happens, police will continue to provide security for some of the officers and families who Dorner threatened to kill. The week-long search for Dorner ended with an intense 4-hour shootout at the cabin. CBS reporter Carter Evans was caught in the middle of it.
We are right in the center of the action here.
Then a single gunshot came from inside the cabin and it went up in flames. It is not clear how the fire started. Tourists and residents here in this mountain town say they are waiting for the human remains in that cabin to be officially identified. But many here say they already feel relieved.
Very glad that he's taken care of because he was killing people.
Dorner is accused of killing 4 people and injuring at least 2 others since last week. Teresa Garcia, CBS News, Angeles Oaks, California.
First it was trans fat, then sodium. Now a major consumer group is going after the sugar in soda. Marley Hall reports from New York.
This is how much high fructose corn syrup consumer advocates say the average American drinks each year. That's the sugar in soda.
That's about 70,000 calories per year.
The Center for Science in the Public Interest is calling on the Food and Drug Administration to limit the sugar content in soda and other sugary drinks. The group says current levels are harmful, leading to obesity, heart disease, and other health problems.
When you're faced with a diabetes epidemic, a situation in which 2/3 of American adults are overweight or obese, the government has a responsibility to do something about that.
The average 20-ounce bottle of soda has about 16 teaspoons of sugar in it. That's double the daily recommendation. Experts say the problem is it's easy to consume too much sugar when it's in a liquid.
Ask them to just eat 16 teaspoons of sugar. It's just almost impossible to do that. But you can gulp it down in a minute or two and then go back for another.
The beverage industry says it's doing its part, noting the calories per beverage have come down over the past 15 years. Some consumers say the government shouldn't get involved.
Just let people drink what they want to drink.
Others think something has to be done.
And somebody needs to help them in order to protect their health.
People are actually drinking fewer sugary beverages than they did a decade ago. But health advocates say it's still 4 times what Americans drank in the 50s. Marley Hall for CBS News, New York.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, you can tune into Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Deatra. And now Danielle Percival joins us for a look at sports. So, Danielle, it's been a while since we've seen any Trojan athletic activity on Troy's campus, but tomorrow night fans will be able to go to Trojan Arena and support the basketball games.
Well, that's right, Bailey, and hopefully lots of fans will turn up and show some love to the basketball teams on Valentine's Day. So, we've got previews of the games coming up, but there's lots to get into, so let's get started.
Sounds good.
Saturday's men's basketball game against Middle Tennessee can hardly be described as anything other than dismal. Emil Jones was the only Trojan who scored in double digits with 16, and the next highest scorer was Ray Chambers, chipping in 6 points. That's a stark difference from the past few games when every Trojan that has hit the court has scored. And head coach Don Maestri knows that is what it takes for his team to be competitive.
There's no doubt. I mean, for us to be successful, we have to get contributions from everybody on the team that plays. I mean, when they all 9 score, we normally have a great chance to win. Against Middle, I don't think it would have made a lot of difference. They just were on top of their game.
The men will be looking to use a complete team effort to win Thursday night against FIU. The Trojans lost a close one to the Golden Panthers on the road, but have the chance for redemption Thursday night at 7:30. For the women's basketball team, there's no doubt that Sunday's victory was the biggest this season, but according to Graham Hayes with ESPN, it was also the upset of the week. Hayes said Troy pulled off the week's real stunner with a 74-70 win at Middle Tennessee State on Sunday. It's the same Troy that entered the game with a 1-12 record in the Sun Belt and 4-18 overall. And the same Middle Tennessee that was a perfect 16-0 against Troy and that had never lost more than one conference game at home in a season. Neither of those hold true any longer. Head coach Shanda Rigby said the success is all about the players' commitment to learning a new system.
Extremely proud of the seniors because that's always the hardest, your senior group, your older group, to come in and buy into a new system. Seniors like Sarah McCapian have definitely bought into what we're doing and have supported us 100%, and we're very happy for them to get the win.
The Trojans will look to keep momentum on their side and avoid a letdown on Thursday night at home. The Trojans will take on Florida International at 5:15 tomorrow night. And with baseball season beginning at the end of the week, the preseason coaches poll has been released, and the Trojans were picked to finish 4th in the league. Florida Atlantic took the top spot, followed by Florida International and South Alabama at 2 and 3. The Trojans finished last season tied for 6th place in the conference, a sharp drop from finishing at the top just the season before. Head coach Bobby Pierce said he was pleasantly surprised where his team was ranked, but you can't put stock in preseason polls.
I thought they kind of gave us credit for being a top 3 finisher like we normally are and putting us in 4th. So I appreciate that. And that being said, hey, that's it. That's over. Preseason picks, and that's why you play the game. So, our goal is to finish higher than that.
The Trojans will open their season at home on Friday afternoon at 6 o'clock against Florida A&M. And that will be the first game of a 4-game series. The women's tennis team will be back on the road for their 6th straight contest away from home tonight in Auburn. They are coming off a 4-1 win over Furman this Sunday that included a win by Caroline Grimmel over a top-ranked player in the nation. The Trojans are 3-2 this year, while the Tigers are 5-1 and on a 5-game winning streak and also ranked 68th nationally. The Trojans and the Tigers will meet on the court at 6 o'clock tonight. So Deatra, Bailey, best of luck to the women's tennis team on the road tonight. Hopefully they can bring back a victory. It would be impressive. But also for the basketball teams, hopefully lots of fans show up and show out.
Absolutely. Very exciting time, and best of luck to them.
That's right. It's going to be a busy weekend. Everybody needs to come out and support the teams.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Danielle.
Thank you.
And still to come on Trojan Vision Nightly News, we'll learn about Troy University's SGA plans for the semester.
But first, we've seen rain every day this week, but the rain seemed to slack off a little bit today. Will we need an umbrella for tonight? Courtney?
Well, Bailey, I don't think it's time to put away those umbrellas just yet, but I have more details coming up next in weather.
I'm Sandra Fry. I'm a union bus driver, and I'm also a mom. During 17 years with Greyhound, I've covered over 2 million miles. My job is to safely bring families together. I love the open road, but I never forget that a drowsy or careless driver could be right around the next curve. Drunk driving is the deadliest of all. As a mom and as a bus driver, I have a message for you. If you drink, don't drive.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Courtney Addison joins us for a look at weather.
Well, Courtney, it seems like every day this week we've been seeing some sort of rain, heavy rain, light rain. What can we expect for the rest of the week?
Well, it looks like that rain is going to stay around just a little more into the night and maybe a little bit tomorrow, but it looks like it should slack off and we should have a beautiful weekend. But I'll have more on that a little bit later. First, let's take a look at our campus snapshot.
All right.
Looking at our campus snapshot, the sun is starting to peek out from behind the clouds a little bit, which we haven't seen much of in the past couple of days, so that's a little bit of difference. Very wet outside. It has rained a significant amount, about almost 6 inches of rain in the past 7 days. Looking at our current conditions, we have cloudy skies, temperature coming in at 47 right now, dew point at 43, humidity at 85%, barometer coming in at 29.94 and steady, and winds coming in from the west-northwest at 9 miles per hour. Looking at today's statistics, we had a high of 57, a low of 37. There was almost a half an inch of rain. The sunrise was at 6:28 a.m. and the sun should be setting around 5:28 p.m. And looking at temperatures from around the state, for the most part, everyone is seeing very cloudy and a little bit of rain throughout the day, and temperatures in the 40s and the 50s, so it's really cool outside today. Have Mobile coming in at 48, Birmingham 45, Huntsville at 43, Montgomery and Phoenix City both experiencing temperatures around 50 with a little bit of rain and clouds, Troy at 47 and Dothan at 51. Taking a bigger picture and looking at our current conditions, current temperatures around the southeast, like I said, most everyone in our area is experiencing temperatures into the 40s and barely peaking into the 50s, with the exception of Florida. You see, the cold front that we've been experiencing hasn't exactly made it that far south yet, so Miami is still seeing temperatures into the 80s. Looking at a bigger picture, looking at the United States temperatures, like I said, we're seeing temperatures in the 40s, but the northern part of the United States is seeing temperatures into the 30s and the 40s, which, I mean, is a lot warmer than what they have been experiencing the past couple of days. If we look back towards the west, in Texas, they're still seeing temperatures into the 60s, which we could see some of those temperatures come into our area in the next couple of days. Looking at our current surface map, lots of pressure systems developing out west, not having a whole lot of effect on our area right now. But if we take a look closer into our area, we have two cold fronts, which is one has already moved through, which was this band, which pushed the first line of showers in, which is still kind of lingering around in the peninsula of Florida. And we have the second one, which is starting to push through now, which is pushing this band of storms in our area, which is the rain we're experiencing now, and causing our temperatures to decrease a whole lot. Going into our departure from normal, we're seeing temperatures a little bit warmer than we should be, but as I said earlier, the northern part of the United States is seeing temperatures a lot warmer than they usually should be. They usually see temperatures into the teens, and now they're seeing temperatures in the 30s. Our precipitation forecast, we could be experiencing anywhere up to a half inch to an inch of rain, depending on what area you are. So if you're going to be out, make sure you try to stay dry. Going into Thursday's forecast, should remain pretty clear. And as far as Friday, should have a beautiful start to our weekend, with the exception of Florida. If you're going to be traveling, be very careful, because they do have that chance to still see that little bit of rain. Going into Saturday, should have a beautiful Saturday for all of our Trojan athletics, as well as finishing out our weekend on Sunday should still be beautiful. Looking at tonight's forecast, we have mostly cloudy skies pretty early, and then as the night continues on, we should see thicker clouds. 20% chance of rain for tonight, so if you're going to be outside, be careful and try to stay dry. And winds coming in from the northwest at 6 miles per hour with a low of 37. It's going to be a very chilly night outside. Going into tomorrow's forecast, we have partly cloudy skies, a very sunny afternoon, light and variable winds coming in from the northwest at 4 miles per hour with a high of 62. So it's going to be a little bit warmer than what we have been experiencing. Looking at our 4-day forecast, we should have temperatures into the 60s, low in the 30s, very sunny skies throughout the rest of the week and to start our weekend. So, Deatra, Bailey, we have seen that rain, but it should be clearing up pretty soon.
Thanks, Courtney.
Awesome. Thank you.